Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Hillaire and I'm back with another video. So hi everyone, I promised y'all a part 2 to finish off the presentation that happened last week. So here we are, we'll be continuing today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are safe and still being safe, and I'll see you at the end of this video. So now we move on to the waist. Waist is simple. Just as how you use a measuring tape to measure your bust, the same way, but you're measuring the waist. It is always advised that the person or your hands are not near your waist, because when it's there, you move, you shift or whatever, the measuring tape could be loosened out, and then the pants or the skirts or whichever garment you're doing at the bottom will be bigger and will drop, so you have to take it in on it. So make sure your hands are nowhere near the measuring tape when measuring there in order to get the perfect and right measurements. Also, make sure you have your index finger again inside of the tape when taking the measurement. Give it a little room for when you breathe, for when you put it on the size, you get me, to go in and out and to button it properly. Because when you button, you don't button with, you just put the clothes on your belly and you button. You always button with your finger inside the garment to button. So you need to have that little space. Even though you have that 1 inch space or half an inch space, your garment would not fall. Okay, remember that, it would not fall. To the hip. So we have the hip, we have the hip depth, and we have the crotch depth. So the hip depth is basically just as the bust and the waist. It's just basically down on the hip, but it's going across your butt. So when you go across your butt, this is where when you put in yourself in it, your pants could be, or your skirt, whatever, could be on your waist, and the size of it would not bust because you have a bigger package in the back there than normal. But you have the measuring tape, you send it around, and you send it around the highest point of your butt in order to get the perfect and correct measurement. Remember that. Now we move on to the crotch depth. Crotch depth will normally be used for pants. This is the best and most simplest way to get your crotch depth. By sitting down on whichever, your table, your chair, preferably the chair, and you measure from your waist, the same way you have your waist up when you previously took the measurement, and you measure from the waist down to the table. And you take that measurement that is creased to curve back out on the table as you see there. So you take that measurement, that's a crotch depth. This is the best way to take your crotch depth, because there's another method that is send it between the legs. But we don't feel comfortable all the time to send it between the legs, but still. This is the best way, the safest way, the most comfortable way, because even have on a skirt and you come to measure someone who comes wearing a skirt, how will you get the crotch depth? You go tell them take out the skirt today? No, this is the best way to get the crotch depth. So we move on to the hip depth. So the hip depth is basically again from the waist, but this time you'll be standing up, go down to the highest part of your leg, the highest part of your hip. You have this sink in, and then you come back out on the side there. So that hip piece on the side there, that's where is your hip for your hip depth. It will be for your skirt, so that you get it nice and smooth, and when you sit down, nothing wouldn't bust, nothing would be pulling. That's what hip depth is for. So now we move on to the leg. So this measurement will basically be for pants, right? And the thickest, most luscious part of your leg is where you will measure. This is the wrong leg. Okay, you measure the thickest, most, and you go around it. Just so you go around the wrist, you go around the leg. And again, just so you had your index finger for your waist measurement, and for your sleeve measurement, you put your index finger there again for your around leg. We'll be having the around knee. So the same thing again, you measure the size around the knee, but the person needs to be standing for this measurement, right? They need to be standing, because you have one measurement when you stand, and when you sit down is another measurement. Again, you need to have space so when you sit down and the knee is expanded, that you can cater for all that space so the pants would not burst. So that's how you do your around knee, same measurement procedure. And the around ankle, same thing. Same thing. You measure down to your ankle, where your ankle is at, you go around it, have your index finger inside it so you get space. Also, a tip for the around ankle, just as how you do your wrist and you pass down to your hand. So the size when you pass down to your hand, that's what you're using for the around wrist. that is the same thing you will be doing for your ankle. So when I measure your ankle, you'll have it and you'll lengthen out or you're twisting out to send it out through your foot. Because we don't want no pants that you can't shove your foot through, or you need to put on a plastic bag in order to slide the percent up. But the 70% how will you send it back out? You get me? We don't want all our struggles. We want to be on the go. We want to dress, get ready, and dust it. We don't need no extra plastic or whatever to put on our garments. Now we have the skirt and or pants length. Why is it skirt or pants length? Because basically it's the same method. You measure from the waist to down as far as how you want the pants length or as far as you want the skirt length. If you want the skirt length to be 4 inches after your hip, you know where your hip is, you measure down 4 inches after your hip. So you get your 3/4, measure down on your hip, you get your almost a whole pants, you measure down to your calcium, and well, your calcium, you know, after your knee, that portion there, that's what I call calcium. And to get the long pants, you send it all the way down to your ankle. That's how you get the long pants, right? And you measure from the front, or you can measure from the side. But it's preferably asked that you measure on the side, because you get a smoother, straighter thing on the side rather than the front. An important tip on this part: when you're measuring the front, or if you're measuring somebody to do their pants or their skirt, please don't have them bend down. When you bend over, the measurement turns differently. So when you measure that measurement, when they bend down, when they get back up and they put on the pants, oh, it's a bit shorter than what I asked for, or it's a bit shorter than what you expected. That's because when you bend over, you condense the measurement than when you're up straight. Because when you're up straight, normally you walk up straight, you don't walk bend over. So please do not bend over when you're taking this measurement. If you're taking it for yourself, another advice is that when you measure, so you measure from the waist, you reach your straight up. You measure to reach your legs, you hold the tape right there. If the tape is to go further, then when you hold it there, when you bend over a bit, you measure down and you hold it right there again. And if you're going all the way down to the ankle, from where you hold it there on your knee, you bend over again and measure reach it down. Because you notice how the condensing session, we are stopping the condensing session when we hold and bend piece by piece. So that I'm saying, do not have you or the person bend over drastically to get the measurement, because the measurement that you actually want or the garment we want it to reach, it will not be there, okay? It will not reach there. It will be shorter, condensed, smaller. So now we move on to the body's top length. Bodice or top length, because as I said before, from the collar, well, from the fat before your collarbone, come over your bust, your apex, and then it comes straight down. So you measure. If you want it to reach by your hips, that's your bodice length. If you want it to reach by your waist, you reach there. As I said before, your body's top length important. You have it come over your bust, not the side of it, not the middle of it, over the bust or the apex, come down to get your body's top length. Now we go to your dress length. So for your dress length, there are 2 ways to do your dress length. The first way is that you measure from the same fat before your collarbone, come over the bust, apex, and then come straight down to the floor, wherever you want it to be, before your knee, after your knee. That's the dress length, the first way to get your dress length. So if you want to do your ball-like effect, you know, in your big poofy dress, or your big long train in the back of your dress, right? You measure the bodice first. So you're having 2 different measurements. So from the bodice, that means exactly from the top to your waist, exactly that's nothing further, nothing extra. And then when you get that measurement, you measure from the waist again down to the further length, to the ground or wherever you're reaching for that measurement, for that length, right? You can do that too. So when you get those 2 measurements now, that's why I say exact and exact. So when you join them back together, you'll get the exact length of the dress that you are going for. If you're doing it with a train in the back, you will have 3 measurements now. So the front, because the front will be shorter than the back because you're having train. So we measure it from the back of you, come over your butt, the highest part of your butt, come all the way down straight, and then you can send the measuring tape going back to get your train length. So these are the 2 measurements, starting from your shoulder down to the ground, or you do the 2 measurements where you do the top first and then you do the bottom after. So we have come to the end of learning the basic measurements. So we learned how to measure, we learned so we know where to measure when we're taking different garments, and also you know that not all of these measurements will be used for every garment. It's just the ground floor. So this is the basic materials, or as you would say, measurements or skills that you need in order to measure yourself. So I hope everyone gained something or learned something new from this video today. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment to know what you'd like to know again about sewing or any other content that you'd like for me to show. And I will see you in my next one. So everyone, as was stated before, this is the end of this video. The presentations are finally completed. So I hope y'all learned something, y'all will use it, y'all will, inspire me to do even more. So please comment your thoughts so I could give y'all more, extra content and everything on what y'all would like to see. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one.